If you're a fan of house and techno and you're looking for your next festival to attend in the United States with an incredible lineup and even better vibes, then look no further than Seismic Dance Event. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you an ultimate guide to Seismic Dance Event so you have all the information to know about this unique and boutique festival here in Austin, Texas. For those that don't know me, I'm Aid. I'm a music festival content creator. I'm based out of Austin, Texas, and I've lived here for the past 7 years. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about Seismic Dance Event, which actually began in 2018. And I have gone every year since it began, and I have seen it grown into the brand and festival that it is today. I'm filming this video as we are leading up to the 7.0 edition, but in today's video, you can expect overall general information to know about this festival. I'm also going to link the blog post down below so you can bookmark that and come back to it if you decide to attend Seismic Dance Event and want some info and things to know for you to plan your trip. And after you watch this video, if you decide you want to join us for the 7.0 edition, I'll leave the ticket link down below for you as well, and you can use code VIBE for $10 off weekend passes. Without further ado, let's get into today's video and go into everything you need to know about Seismic Dance Event. Like I said, Seismic Dance Event is based here in Austin, Texas. We are honestly so lucky to have a festival like this right in our backyard. As someone that lives in Austin, I have absolutely loved attending this event. We do have other festivals throughout the year like South by Southwest and Austin City Limits, but what makes Seismic Dance Event really special is the fact that it is all about house and techno music and celebrating this genre with incredible acts from across the country and around the world that come and fly in for Seismic Dance Event. This is an event I look to every year, and it always falls around in the fall time in November. However, Seismic does do little springtime events that they've done the past 2 years, which has been really nice just to get a little taste of the seismic vibe and seismic energy. And the other unique part is that this festival is catered around the Concourse Project venue, which is one of the top venues in Texas and also voted as a top venue in the country. This festival started in 2018 by Real Music Events, and it's been really cool to watch this festival grow into what it is now. It's had several different homes for a venue, and then when Real Music Events opened the Concourse Project in 2021, it just felt right that this was the home venue for the Concourse Project for house and techno lovers, as well as the home venue for Seismic Dance Event. So since 2021, it's been really cool to watch them play around with this venue space, having a mixture of outdoor stages as well as playing around with the concourse warehouse with different types of production. And it's always really cool getting to see what they do with each year as it comes. Where the Concourse Project is located, it is near the airport, hence the word concourse. So that is where it is with Seismic Dance Event. If you're traveling from out of town, I always recommend for people to stay downtown or stay near the airport. That's usually can be the easiest depending on what type of weekend you want to have. You are in Austin and everything's relatively close. So if you wanted to have a weekend and be able to explore Austin while attending the festival, you definitely could do so. Or if you just want to come for the festival, then you could definitely stay near the airport. Seismic Dance Event also typically does some type of hotel shuttle package with some locations downtown, I believe, so you can always take a look at those options when you're thinking about where to stay and how to get to and from the festival. Typically with Seismic Dance Event, you can expect a GA ticket option as well as a VIP ticket option. Pricing can typically vary, so I'm not going to mention the exact pricing as that's going to change year after year. However, one of the most common questions I get asked is if VIP is worth it, and as someone who has attended Seismic Dance Event since the beginning, I have found VIP to be worth it. Specifically as I've gotten older as well, I tend to like having a VIP band just because of, you know, the bathrooms, having a different line getting into the venue, having nicer bathroom options. And one of the cool things about Seismic Dance Event is they do have really great lounges outside and inside for VIP. They also have a separate VIP entrance going into the Concourse Project, the warehouse, which can be really nice and give you a separate viewing area, which I tend to find to be worth it in case there's, you know, more of a crowded set. I like having a little bit of a different viewing area and having a more elevated viewing area. So if those are things that are important to you, I definitely think it's worth the purchase then to get a VIP ticket. But otherwise, if you get a GA ticket, you're still gonna have a pretty great experience. There are tons of bathrooms and also a lot of different viewing areas in GA. Like I said, I've just gotten older, so I appreciate having nicer bathrooms, and I also appreciate having a better viewing area, and I also appreciate those lounges as well. They also do offer single day tickets, so that's just gonna depend leading up to the festival when they release the daily lineups, but you can purchase a single day ticket, and you can do either GA or VIP with those single day tickets. In terms of where to stay, like I said, you could either stay close to the airport or you could stay close to downtown. It isn't too far of a drive if you want to rent a car or do an Uber, or like I said, there are hotel and shuttle packages. You just have to check out Seismic Dance Event's website to get all of that info. Also here in Austin, we do have a group rideshare that's called Fetty. It's F-E-T-I-I, and you can book a Fetty for a group of about 10 to 15 plus, I want to say, and you can book multiple Fettys. So if you have a big group where you're all wanting to go and you don't have to worry about driving, that is definitely a great option to have. They also do have parking on site, so you can get a parking pass for each of the days. If you wanted to get a full weekend parking pass, or if you wanted to get single day parking passes, you can do that as well. And that's definitely helpful to plan ahead. You know, if you're going to be driving to the festival, having more of that designated driver available to you, or if you wanted to do Uber, rideshare, or do one of the shuttles. You can also look into the hotel and shuttle packages and just book the shuttle as well, and that is done through Seismic Dance Event. In terms of the weather, you know, as someone that has lived in Austin for the past 7 years, and I came from Phoenix, Arizona, Texas can be a little bit of a mixed bag when it comes to the weather here. There's been years at Seismic where it was very cold. About 2 years ago, 2022, it was very cold. You definitely had to pack a bunch of layers, and by pretty cold, like I'm pretty sure it was in the 30s.
It's 42 degrees out. It's so cold. But you haven't raved unless you raved in the
which is cold for Texas, especially in November. So you definitely want to pack a lot of layers if you have them, just in case, and keep an eye on the forecast leading up. Last year wasn't as cold though. Like last year I could wear a long sleeve and a light jacket, be good to go. Regardless, one of my biggest tips for Seismic Dance Event is to get a locker. That way, if you are going inside the concourse project, inside of the warehouse, you can go stop by your locker, drop off your jacket, and then go inside. Because it does get pretty toasty in there for some of the sets. You know, there's some sets where it turns into a techno dungeon and it's so much fun. And then you can come out and refresh and feel the cold air, but then you're gonna wanna bundle up again. So I definitely recommend getting a locker and just keeping an eye on the forecast leading up. But I tend to wear some type of variation of pants, long sleeve, and then I have like a furry jacket or something that I can take on and off. That's typically the outfits I've done. The one 2 years ago, I was wearing multiple layers though. It was cold and I had hand warmers and everything. It was a cold year, but that was pretty rare. I would say typically you're gonna wanna look at, you know, just one layer and then having maybe a furry jacket. And because you are going inside and outside, you know, some comfortable shoes, as well as maybe sometimes if it's a little bit more moist or dewy, you know, the grounds could get a little bit muddy, so that could happen. So maybe some shoes that can withstand if things get muddy, depending on the terrain and what's going on with the weather. It really just depends. Aside from what to wear because of the weather, I'm going to say when it comes to Seismic Dance Event, definitely wear your house and techno best. I'm gonna do a video specifically on some outfit ideas on what to wear to Seismic Dance Event. However, you know, you could wear an all black outfit and get away with it and look great, you know what I mean? There's some outfits where I've gone more techno, dungeon kind of vibes. There's other times where I've gone more housey, cutesy kind of vibe. Whether you have Seismic merch or Concourse Project merch or artist merch, merch can always be a really great outfit idea. And then yeah, just stuff that you can kind of breathable, comfortable things, like I said, between bouncing back and forth between inside and outside, you know, definitely want to be mindful of that. Things that are easy to wear and take off in case you have a locker and things like that. I've worn a beanie before, I've brought beanies and gloves and things like that. Again, that's dependent on the weather. But you know, I've seen people that are in the super extravagant rave outfits, and then I've seen people more in the streetwear. Like I said, I'm going to be doing a video on some outfit ideas for Seismic Dance Event, so stay tuned for that. Moving into the festival experience, in terms of getting to and from the festival, I discussed some options, but once you arrive on site, they typically have some type of check-in for you to grab your wristband. It's very rare that they actually ship the wristbands to you, so you'll get on site. You'll be able to go and show your ticket and your ID and then be able to get the wristband that you have, and that's the wristband for the weekend. They also tend to do cashless, so you'll attach a credit card or debit card or whatever to your wristband, and that's how you'll pay throughout the weekend. I believe that's what it was last year, and I don't know if that's typically always required, but that's just what I remember. So you definitely have that option available to you, but just keep an eye out on Seismic Dance Events, you know, promos and emails and social media when it comes to that, so you have a plan ahead of time if it is cashless. Then from there, you'll go through security. Security is usually pretty easy to get through. If you're coming at maybe more of a busier time, really just depends. The festival hours also typically depends year after year, you know, depending on when those afters are. So those are just things to keep in mind, but maybe some of the peak times are around like 7 o'clock when a lot of people are wanting to get in. But you'll just keep an eye on those set times from when doors are until doors close, and then they also have the afters as well. But I've always found security to be a breeze. Just make sure that you take a look at the prohibited items list and make sure that you're good to go there and you shouldn't have any issues. Moving into lineup and stages. So year after year, I'm always super excited to see who is on the lineup for Seismic, because it always has some artists that I know really well and that I love so much, but it also includes a lot of gems. So regardless of who is on that lineup, I definitely recommend diving into that lineup, getting a feel, you know, checking YouTube, checking SoundCloud for those artists if they post mixes or have live sets. And I tend to find some artists that maybe I haven't heard of before and I'm all of a sudden obsessed with them, and then I see them at Seismic and I'm even more obsessed with them, right? So definitely do your research beforehand, because I have found some of my like all-time new favorite artists thanks to Seismic. And one of the really cool things that Seismic does is they do have extended sets. So, you know, you could see your favorite artist playing for 90 minutes to 2 hours even. And it's really cool because they know that they're playing Seismic Dance Event, which is a house and techno festival. So they know that they can kind of experiment with it compared to, you know, them playing a set at EDC where it might be something more mainstream, right? I've seen some of my favorite artists just have the absolute best time curating a set because they know they can do that with the crowd that they have. So I definitely encourage you to branch out of maybe the artists that you haven't seen, but you could also see your favorite artist and be surprised by the type of set that they do, because it might not be their typical kind of set that they typically do, which is always really exciting. And then I always say definitely make a plan to do some of the afters. They'll always post the afters announcement and tickets, and they always keep the afters to Seismic Dance Event ticket holders only. So it kind of keeps and maintains that vibe, which I think is really great, and is able to protect that vibe as well. And so definitely make it a point to check out some of those afters. Those are going to be the official afters. Of course, we're in Austin, Texas, where it's the live capital, live music capital of the world. So there are going to be unofficial afters probably happening around the city. However, the afters are on site at the Concourse Project. So it makes it super easy for the festival to end. They clear everyone out and then they reset for the after party, and then you're able to go back in, which I think makes it a lot easier than having to like hop in Uber and go somewhere else. Like you're just staying there essentially, which I think is great. In terms of the stages and what to expect there's going to be the Concourse Project, which is the warehouse. That's going to be inside. That's the volcano stage. And in there you can find some incredible production. I always kind of compared the production to like Space Mountain. There was one year that I felt like I was in Space Mountain. We were on a techno Space Mountain, like just the way it was done, it had you so like zoned in, you know what I mean? But it's really cool every year because they don't keep that production leading up to Seismic and they don't keep it afterwards. They sometimes do keep it up, it just depends. But it really makes it special, and it kind of creates a different environment and atmosphere every time you go to the Concourse Project, but even so with Seismic. So it really does make it feel like you're transporting to another world, another dimension, which I think is great, because if you're someone like me who lives in Austin and goes to the Concourse Project, practically lives at the Concourse Project, it's always great to kind of have a refresh in production, and it's always top notch. The sound is always great. And then outside they have the Tsunami stage, which in 2023 they unveiled kind of a new design with it, which was really cool, and I'm excited to see what this year is going to look like. But the Tsunami stage is typically outside, and that production and those artists you tend to find are more in the house realm. Inside in the volcano is more so the techno realm. And where they put the headliners is just going to depend and vary as well. So sometimes the music acts will also vary at those stages. It really just depends. And then last year in 2023, they unveiled the Realm stage. There used to be a stage called Frequency that changed to the Realm. They actually made it a covered tent outside, which I thought was really cool. So I'll be interested to see if that remains this year. But I like that it changes up every year. And it makes it a little hard when I'm talking about a festival guide here, but these are the things that you can kind of, you know, start to think about. And I have vlogs and videos from years past where you can get an idea of, you know, what this looks like. And I will be vlogging 2024. So I have some updated content and material for you guys. It is always interesting to see, you know, here are the changes that they make to the venue layout, to the stages and all of that. So I'm always intrigued and excited to see what they do. Now, one of my favorite things to talk about at Seismic Dance Event is the crowd, because I love our Seismic crowd. I love the Austin crowd. I love love our house and techno fam because we just get it. Like, we just get it, you know, like we say, excuse me, we have a good time, we give people their space, we're kind to one another, and we just bring the vibes. Like, I love anytime it's seismic, whether it's seismic in the spring, seismic in the fall, it just brings such a camaraderie vibe of like, we just love this music and we just want to have a good time. And I have never had a bad crowd experience ever. It's also really great because since I live in Austin, I get to see a lot of the friends and people that I've, you know, connected with in Austin, and we all get to have great time together. But I've also met so many people that have traveled, you know, from out of town and got to meet them, or just random strangers, right? And you just vibe out and have a good time. So that is the one thing I can tell you, is that you will not have a bad crowd experience while at Seismic Dance Event. We're all just here to have a good time, and we love this music so much and love sharing that with one another. Another piece to your festival experience is the food and drink options. So there are definitely plenty of drink options available to you, as well as food options as well. They definitely keep in mind, you know, any vegan options or vegetarian options, and then also have a lot of other options when it comes to food. They also have seating for food, so you never have to worry about that, which I think is great. Tons of art installations and things throughout the venue, photo opportunities and all of that. Drink options, you know, they have a full bar and everything inside and outside, but they also do have a lot of non-alcoholic options, which I was very happy with, as, you know, I was someone who was sober for 1.5 years from alcohol, and I love having those options available other than just caffeine, right? They had some, you know, adaptogenic drinks and Waterloos, which is like a sparkling water option. So I always appreciate having options like that available. You know, I have recently introduced alcohol back, but I still tend to not drink more times than not, you know? So they definitely have a lot of those options available. They also have a whole vendor kind of area, so you can definitely check out some of the local artists and things like that, selling certain things like clothing, art pieces, and other vendors that they feature at Seismic. Now, in terms of making the most out of this festival, it really is such an easy festival to go to, like so easy to navigate. It's compact. It's easy to bounce from stage to stage. If you have time conflicts, you know, you really can split those sets if you want to. Some other things to know to make the most out of it: I did recommend getting a locker. I think that's super helpful if you're going to go from inside and outside, depending on what the weather is. Another must-have item that I think is important to bring are earplugs, because it is going to be loud and we want to protect our hearing. So definitely bring some earplugs. They do have water stations, so if you want to bring a hydration pack, you definitely can. That's definitely a great must-have to have. Hand warmers for when you're outside, gloves, beanie, all of those things could be good for outside. Just double check the list and make sure beforehand. And then some other things, like I mentioned, check out the afters. Definitely check out one of the afters, one of the nights. Maybe check out an artist that you wouldn't normally listen to, and then yeah, just have a good time, be present, connect with one another, make friends with a stranger, right? And just really enjoy it. Like, I love Seismic Time. It's my favorite festival to end the year on. Like, I look forward to it every year, and it really is such a unique and special festival that I think any house and techno lover should attend to. Like I said, I will be vlogging this 2024 experience, but I have a whole playlist of YouTube videos from years past if you want to check out those videos and learn more about Seismic Dance Event. And if you want to join us for the 7.0 edition or ones in the future, I'm going to link it down below. My code for 2024 is code VIBE, and that is $10 off for weekend passes. I will also link down below the blog post for you, so you can bookmark that for future reference. If you have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment down below. And if you like this festival content and want to keep vibing and following along, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, feel free to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button to vibe with me. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!